Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another video. Let me fix the camera here. Just a little bit. Okay, that should be good enough. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another video. I planned on making a video letting you guys know about this early on, but stuff got in the way, so I do apologize. But right out of the gate, I just want to say this is probably my most anticipated television show of 2022. There's been a lot of great stuff that I've seen in terms of television, but this show in particular has so much hype for me, and it's something that I have most certainly been looking forward to for a very long time, as well as a whole bunch of other fans of Star Wars as well. And yes, I am talking about the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, which is now airing on Disney+. The first 2 episodes are available, and I decided that for this video, I'm going to be talking about episodes 1 and 2 of the show together in one video. And for my Obi-Wan Kenobi videos, I am going to be doing this episode by episode, but since we got a 2-episode premiere, I'm just going to combine these 2 episodes into one video. But I'll let you guys know when I'm getting into the next episode. Since I am so excited for this show, and I have a lot of things to say, every time there's a new episode, I'm going to make a video for it, because I feel like since this is a limited series and we only have 6 episodes, there's going to be a lot to talk about, and mostly just because I want to do it. So let's go ahead and get started. Now for these videos, I'm going to stress, I will be talking spoilers. So if you have not seen at least episodes 1 and 2 of Obi-Wan Kenobi on Disney+, do not watch this video. Go watch the episodes, then come back to see my overall review. Because yes, I will be spoiling stuff in every single video, because I can't help myself, because there's so much I want to talk about and I have to get into spoiler territory. So let's begin with episode 1. Now, I'm not really going to go so much in order. I'm really just going to be talking about the things that I liked, disliked, and things that I'm excited for in the future. Now, just again to let you guys know, this show is a limited series, so we're only getting 6 episodes, and then that's it. There's not going to be a season 2. It's 6 episodes, and then we are done. All right? So let's start with episode 1. Right out of the gate, we get the "a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away" showing up on the screen. I love that. I loved the bronze Lucasfilm logo showing up. I love the new Star Wars intro that pops up, like they have done with all of the Disney Plus Star Wars shows. I thought that was really cool. The whole recap of them going over everything from episode 1, 2, and 3 was really great, really got you into the show. And the thing that I liked most with episode 1 is just everything about it. Everything about episode 1 was just absolutely great. I loved how we got to see a flashback to Order 66 in the Jedi Temple. I think there's probably more to that. We'll probably see more in the later episodes. I hope so, because I was hoping for something a little bit more in that scene. But also, I love how so far we see how truly broken Obi-Wan is. You know, in this episode, we just get to see what he's been up to within these 10 years, that he's really just living a normal life. He's keeping an eye on Luke. He's got a job. He's working. He's taking care of himself. But he is just absolutely broken, because he still thinks that after all these years that Anakin Skywalker is dead and that he failed the galaxy. So his only goal in life is to protect Luke. And he has also not been using the Force in over 10 years. And he is not the man that we have seen him back in the prequel trilogy, as we'll get into more later. So that was really interesting to see. I love knowing how that Obi-Wan is the one that gave Luke that little toy starfighter that he's flying around in episode 4. I thought that was an amazing touch. I love that. The Inquisitors. Let's talk about the Inquisitors. I know that's going to be coming up a lot when we get to episode 2. I love the Inquisitors. I know that there's a lot to be said about Reva, whatever. I'm just going to say Reva. I know a lot of people are not liking her character that much. I am intrigued by her character. I do not find her character annoying like some people are already saying, like, even though we're only 2 episodes in. We still got 4 more episodes to go, so give it time. I'm not annoyed with her character. I think her character is interesting. I'm curious to see where they go with her. She clearly knows a lot of information, and we'll go over more of that in episode 2. I loved seeing the Grand Inquisitor and another one of the Inquisitors as well. I think the actors that betrayed them are really good. I love the opening with them going and trying to hunt down the Jedi on Tatooine. That was really cool. Seeing Uncle Owen again. And then we cut to what I did not expect was Alderaan and seeing a young Princess Leia. And I'm just going to say this right now. That little girl has stolen the show. She is absolutely adorable, and she is literally just a perfect young Princess Leia. I loved everything with her. She was absolutely great, and I don't know how much more we'll see of her, but I'm hoping that maybe we'll get to see her a little bit more, but she has a great introduction. I love seeing Jimmy Smits back as Bail Organa. He was a sight to see. I loved everything about that. And later, as we learn throughout the episode, Leia gets kidnapped and she's taken off-world, and Bail Organa communicates to Obi-Wan saying that I need your help to go and find her. And Obi-Wan tells him that he's not the same Jedi as he once was. You know, he's not that kind of man anymore. So he essentially tells Bail he just basically says, like, I can't do it. Find someone else. And then he cuts communication. And then as we progress later in the episode, we learn that the Jedi that the Inquisitors were hunting in the beginning of the episode is in fact killed by the Inquisitors, which had an encounter with Obi-Wan telling him, bury the lightsaber, leave the planet, and start a new life. Because at this time, any remaining Jedi that survived Order 66 are being hunted down by the Inquisitors. So that just goes to show you right there, and that's something that I like how the show does, how Jedi are not safe. If you are a Jedi during this time period, you are being hunted. So then we learn that Bail Organa has come to Tatooine and is basically begging and pleading with Obi-Wan to go and find Leia because he knows how important she is and how she is the daughter of Anakin Skywalker, just like Luke is. Well, the son. So Obi-Wan goes to the desert and digs up his old lightsabers and decides to board a ship to go and find Princess Leia. Now, my thoughts with this, a lot of people I hear, canon is going to be brought up a lot within this show. People are already saying that, he doesn't leave Tatooine because he's got to go and he's got to protect Luke. Like, okay, but technically speaking, yes, he leaves Luke unprotected to go and find Leia. How do I feel about that? I mean, personally, I really don't care because if all the Inquisitors, which we'll see in episode 2, are on this planet looking for Leia, that means the threat has left Tatooine. So Luke he's safe. But also it makes sense for why he would have to leave because it's Anakin's daughter. She is a child of Anakin, and I can totally see why he would need to go and save her. And I know that a lot of people are upset in terms of the canon, but I think this is fine, And it's not like Luke's in great danger. I mean, the Inquisitors have left Tatooine. Obi-Wan is leaving, so people are eventually going to follow him. But overall, this is a really great introduction episode. Just everything I liked about it was great. It was perfectly well-paced, and I just loved, it's heartbreaking, but it was cool to see that, we're expecting to see that old Obi-Wan, but now we kind of get an Obi-Wan that is broken, who is kind of like Luke Skywalker in The Last Jedi, but it's better written in this one because it makes more sense in terms of character. Because you have somebody that had a friend, Anakin Skywalker, who he thought killed, and because of that, the Empire rose to power and now everything is all destroyed. It makes sense. But I'm not going to get into, we're not talking about The Last Jedi here. We're not getting into that. Overall, episode 1, really great start. I'm giving episode 1, since I'm going episodic, I'll give these a number out of 10, and then at the very end, I'll give the overall series a grade. So episode 1 definitely gets a 10 out of 10. This is a perfect introduction, a great way to start the series. I had no problems with episode 1. This is great. So now let's talk about episode 2. Now there's going to be a lot to say in this one, so I'll try and make sure I don't ramble on too much. So Obi-Wan has gone to this new planet to try and find Leia. We come across a clone trooper that is basically living on the streets. Very sad, but I love how they got Tamara Morrison to play the clone trooper. I thought it was really good. But again, it just goes to show you that when the Empire rose to power, they no longer needed clone troopers. They just wanted to have more people to fill their ranks. That's why they brought in the stormtroopers. So seeing a clone, asking for money and whatnot, it makes sense. And that's another attention to detail that I love. The clone troopers weren't needed. And if you look correctly at that clone, his armor is blue. That was one of Anakin's 501st soldiers. So it just goes to show you, even though Anakin had his own personal clone troopers, he and the Empire just threw them away. And, that's another great attention to detail. So Obi-Wan eventually finds Leia, and they're trying to escape. Reva is there trying to hunt him down. The Inquisitors are absolutely pissed because they find out that Reva has ordered these bounty hunters or thugs to try and get Leia, when Leia is the daughter of an Imperial senator, which is Bail Organa. And for those of you that are kind of wondering about that, during this time, the Senate is the Imperial Senate. So everybody in the Congress of the Republic are now following the orders of the Emperor. So even though we know that Bail Organa is going to eventually help with the rebellion, he is still following the orders of the Empire. So the Inquisitors are pissed because since Bail Organa is so highly represented in the Imperial Senate, and for somebody to take his daughter away, they're absolutely pissed. The Grand Inquisitors, they're all pissed at Reva for doing this, and I can see why. So then eventually, Obi-Wan gets followed. He's chasing Leia through the rooftops. And eventually, Leia is hanging on for dear life, and he uses however much of force power he can to make sure she doesn't fall to the ground. But it also goes to show you how rusty he is, because he hasn't done this in 10 years. So it makes sense that he's using so much strength just to keep her floating. And that was a suspenseful scene. I mean, we know nothing's going to happen because we know where Leia goes, but that was still very suspenseful, and I think that was a really good moment. So now we get to the ending of this episode. We're going to have a lot of things to talk about, but let's just wrap everything up. So Leia now trusts Obi-Wan, who she knows is named Ben. She doesn't know that it's Obi-Wan. She just knows him as Ben. So it's just Ben. We get a nice little moment where Obi-Wan looks at Leia and he is reminded of Padme. A lot of people are thinking maybe Satine from the Clone Wars, but everyone's leaning more towards Padme, which makes more sense. And then Reva catches up to Obi-Wan. Leia goes to hide in a ship, and if Obi-Wan can't make it, he tells her just to leave, forget about him, go home. And now we get the big reveal of the episode that Reva tells Obi-Wan that Lord Vader is expecting him and that Anakin Skywalker lives. And after that, the Grand Inquisitor comes in, is furious with Reva, and tries to take the credit for himself for bringing in Obi-Wan. And she stabs him. She stabs the Grand Inquisitor, and he is dead. We'll talk about that in a second. Obi-Wan escapes in the ship with Leia. Reva says that you can't run from Darth Vader, you can't hide from him. And then the episode ends in a scene that sent chills down my spine, where we just get a shot of Obi-Wan's face, a tear in his eye, looking absolutely scared and hopeful at the same time, and he just simply calls out Anakin, and then we get a jump cut directly to Vader opening his eyes in the bacta tank, looking absolutely pissed, and that's where the episode ends. Okay. Now let's talk about this episode. Now, with this episode, I do have a negative. I only have one negative. And honestly, it's not even something that bothers me too much, but I'm just like, I didn't really see the point. But unfortunately, it was, and I'm not pronouncing his name right, but he was in Eternals, Kumal something. I can't pronounce his last name, unfortunately. But his character is somebody who scams people into believing that he's a Jedi so he can get them transport off planet and help them. And the scene just felt more like a comedy until, Obi-Wan discovers that he's just a con. And after, again, and I hate to bring this up, but watching The Last Jedi and seeing Benicio del Toro kind of do something like that, I'm just like, I really didn't need that. So that was really my only low point, and I hope that we really just don't have to see him again, but I don't think we will, considering where the story has to go. And now let's talk about the big elephant in the room. The fact that, well, two big elephants, I should say. The first one is that Reva kills the Grand Inquisitor. I do not think the Grand Inquisitor is dead. Mostly because that would be retconning Star Wars Rebels, and we know that Dave Filoni is attached to these new Star Wars projects, and that Deborah Chow has gone to him for story advice. And also with the fact that in The Mandalorian, there is highly referenced things to the Clone Wars and also Rebels. So for them to kill off the Grand Inquisitor, it just wouldn't make sense. They can't retcon that. Because the Grand Inquisitor is in Star Wars Rebels. So I personally think that he is not dead. I got off the phone with my brother and I bet him $20 that the Grand Inquisitor is alive. He is not dead. I don't know where he's going to come back up, but I know he's not dead. Because I know that Dave wouldn't want to retcon Rebels because there's a lot of other stuff that's hinted at Rebels and Clone Wars and other Star Wars shows. So I don't think he's dead. And now the other elephant in the room. How does Reva know that Darth Vader is Anakin Skywalker? Because for those of you that don't know, very few people know that Anakin is Darth Vader. And if anybody ever found out that he was Anakin Skywalker, Vader killed them. Vader did not like that. And I've looked that up and researched it over the years. Because what Reva is really trying to do is the only thing we really know about her character is that apparently she, can see into the minds of people as much Jedi can do, but she's really trying to get on Vader's good side. Now, if she's playing dumb and thinking that, she has no idea who Darth Vader is just to get on his good side, but she secretly knows, okay. But here's how I feel about that. I personally didn't care because I think that, because a lot of people are saying that the reveal that Anakin is alive and that, Vader is looking for Obi-Wan should have been done by another person or it should be at a different moment. Honestly, we have 4 more episodes left of this show, so to kind of do it late in the game kind of would seem a little bad, so I think telling it right now is the perfect time. But with how it's executed, even though we're all asking ourselves, how does Raven know this? Because she really shouldn't know this. The reaction on Obi-Wan's face when he finds out that Anakin is still alive, it was just great. It was just absolutely great. And that last shot with his face and then cutting to Anakin's face in the bacta tank was just great. It was absolutely great. So I don't really mind some of that kind of stuff because, again, we still have 4 more episodes to go, and I don't think that this is going to ruin the canon of the story. I don't think the Grand Inquisitor's dead. I'm willing to bet right now that he is not dead. He's going to come back up in some way, shape, or form. And I think that, this was an okay time for Obi-Wan to find out that Anakin is alive because I still think it was done in an effective way. And with that, I would rate Episode 2, besides the Khan Jedi, played by Kumail, I'm going to give Episode 2 of Obi-Wan Kenobi an 8 out of 10. Because of that one little thing, that kind of took me out of it. I really didn't need it, and I think it was kind of like a waste, but everything else leading towards the end was just absolutely great. We still have some questions to be answered, but I really think going forward with these last few episodes, we're going to start to get a lot more information about what is Reva's plan, how she knows this stuff, and the eventual clash between Obi-Wan and Anakin. Overall, this is a really great start to this show, and I'm so glad we don't have to wait too long for the 3rd episode in the series. And again, it is kind of sad, though, that this is limited because we only have so many number of episodes. We only have 4 episodes left. But I think the pacing is going just fine right now. I thought we were actually going to be on that new planet for a good chunk of time, but no, we just left it. So I think it's moving at a good pace. I'm intrigued to see where these characters go. I can't wait to see more Vader. I'm hoping that we actually get to see some of Anakin. I think that would be really great. I have some predictions for how I think maybe the show will end, but I'm not going to talk about that till we finish that final episode. But overall, great start. I can't wait for episode 3. If you guys have not seen it yet, but you wanted to know spoilers, there you go. But still, it's definitely worth a watch. And episode 3 of the show will come out this upcoming Wednesday. So stay tuned for that. And then sometime around that, I will make another video reviewing episode 3. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.